Now, let me ask Arabia the same question. Arabia, you're married to somebody, and or hypothetically, and you've been married for 6 years. Y'all have a kid, something like that. And his mother.
Let's actually talk about Jayden Daniels real quick. So in a docu-series, including his mother, she was asked what concerned her the most as Jayden prepared to go to the NFL. She replied, girls. She said, some girl out here, she's got a Jayden Daniels wall, and her mama says, hey, honey, you're going to be the one to get him. And I know that sounds crazy, but I guarantee there's someone who's trying to get their hooks into Jayden Daniels. So thank God he got a mama like me, because it ain't happening. Mike, after seeing that interview clip with his mom, what were your thoughts on what she had to say?
Mom is saying, this is my baby. I'm protecting him, and y'all ain't getting our money. I understand what Mom is saying. I have no issue with what Mom is saying, because she wants to keep him focused. There's one thing to work so hard to get to this level. It's another thing to stay at this level with everything that's coming at you. And when you start playing at this level the way he's playing. Absolutely. Every one of those guys, every one of those girls in Washington bought that little jersey, and she gonna see them waiting every time he walks by in that stadium. They gonna be waiting, skirt up, trying to catch them that dollar and make it holler. She just gotta get used to it. Keep protecting him. But he will get some opportunities.
Okay, Arabia, your thoughts on what Jayden Daniels' mom had to say?
Yeah, I mean, she's not wrong. Everything that she said is correct, and she's just trying to protect her baby, and I can respect that. I'm glad that he has somebody in his corner who's looking out for him, because there are females, as we all know, who are just looking for a bag, looking for a come up, and they will sink their teeth into this rookie if she's not careful. But what I will say is that this is not the first instance of her showing kind of like being a protective mom. We saw him courtside at the Wizards game, and she just looks out for him in these little moments, like telling him to put his phone down if the camera's right there, or actually getting her license to be a manager and be an agent. So she's really invested in him and his career and wants to be there for him as a guide. And I can appreciate her going out of her way to make sure that her baby's okay for the long run in this league, because, people can get really, really derailed from excellent careers because of all the outside background noise.
Yeah, I like the mom injuries, man. Like even Lamar Jackson's mom when he was renegotiating his contract, and I love the moms that try to protect their sons and stay on top of it. But if you catch that right blowjob, Mom, ain't nothing you can do about it, nigga. Sorry, Mom.
It's a W-R-A-P.
Yeah, he catch that. And he young, too, he might not have had his dick sucked good yet, pause, by the right female. Mom ain't gonna be in that room when that happened, man. And then when he starts sneaking off and sending Zelles and Cash Apps and all that, it ain't gonna be a lot because he's gonna get a lot of money. Mom can't stop that blowjob from the right female. So I'm glad she's looking out for him, but at the same time, we see a lot of athletes that go against their parents and say, listen, Mom, I like her. No disrespect, God bless the day. God bless the day. I know it sounds funny when I say shit, but I'm being honest with you. Kobe Bryant didn't speak to his parents no more, my man. You know what I'm saying? Like for his wife. And that ended up being his wife, and he had a beautiful family and everything else. But think about that. He absolutely stopped speaking to his family, and luckily it was the right female. He ended up having, like I said, a beautiful family. But once you're grown, and you can't stop a man from being a man. I was watching an Instagram video probably about 8-9 weeks ago, maybe in 3-4 months. And it was a big argument. And I'd like to know your opinion on this, Mike. And my mother's passed away right now, and I'm not sure if your mother's alive or not, but I want to get your opinion on this.
No, she's in heaven. Yeah, my mom's passed also.
Like my condolences. If your mom and your wife are arguing for the passenger seat, who's sitting in it?
That's a great question. And I was blessed that for some reason my mother and my wife were very close. Her mother and me were very close. Her mother used to put me back together after them all-nighters. You know what I'm saying? So I'm out all night, wilding out. I come home, she was, baby, come on, there ain't nothing but the devil. We gotta get you cleaned up. Tell that devil, ain't nobody going nowhere. Ain't nobody leaving. I've been all night. I got mom saying she ain't going nowhere. I just get on, get yourself sobered up and get ready. You see,
Right.
we were that close, and I love her. I love her. She stays with me. She lived with me until the day she passed. We built rooms in our homes for our mother's quarters. My mother-in-law died in that room. My mom would never come because she wouldn't leave that little place we had in Florida, you know, that she didn't want to leave that. But I'm very close with her, with my mom. My mom wouldn't even put me in that situation.
Okay.
She would take the back seat because she's saying that's your wife, and she knows she controlled my wife. So they were so close, you know. So it worked out well for me. I tell dudes all the time, let me tell you how to make this work with your wife. You make sure that you don't just bring her on. Bring all of her whole support system with you. I take care of my mom and the daughter and her sister. So when you mess up, and you will mess up, she's going to go to them and they'll tell her, go on back there, that's a good boy. He just made a bad decision. And you'll be fine. You got to make sure you support what she loves.
Yeah, so the thing is, buy the family off. That's what you're basically saying. So when you get caught cheating or fuck up, you already bought the whole family off. So it ain't no choice because she has nobody to go to because you already bought her family off. Is that what you're saying? Now, let me ask Arabia the same question. Arabia, you're married to somebody, and or hypothetically, and you've been married for 6 years. Y'all have a kid, something like that. And his mother wants to get in the front seat of you and your husband's car. Are you mad if your husband wants his mother to get in the front seat over you? And y'all been together over half a decade?
No, I'm just not petty. She can get in the front seat. I don't care about the front seat that bad to be mad about the front seat. I feel like a more accurate comparison is like if my husband and my dad, they're going back and forth about who gets the front seat.
Okay.
At that point, both y'all can get in the back seat, or y'all can't come. Like, you're not about to put me in the middle or nothing. So, yeah, no, I'm not playing with the front seat, back seat.
Yeah, see, that's why I love females that's not from New York. That shit would be a big problem in New York. It would be a whole fucking big ass problem if these girl that tell you suck my dick after all that and all type of shit. It'd be a big problem. Suge, no. Suge looking at me like, don't even ask me that question right now, nigga. I dig it, but I just was wondering, but at the end of the day, I really do support what these mothers are trying to do. And like I said, we've seen it in music as well. They call momingers in music. But I do respect she's trying to get her license to be an agent. Lamar Jackson's mother, any other mother that I'm not mentioning. I do really love that mothers are taking an intricate space in their child's career. But once they meet that right one, baby,
Rap.
He said it's gonna be hell in the house. It's gonna be some hell in there, boy. I tell you that right now. And another thing, last thing I'll say is this: I know that there's females out there that's looking specifically just to get at athletes. For his mother to say that, he may have a bitch problem. What you think? Well, he may be liking the bitches too much. Because why would she say that? If he wasn't into the bitches like that, she wouldn't be scared about it.
I just feel like she also knows by seeing, like, I feel like as a mom, like, especially when you see your son, you know how good he's about to be, and that's when people just start flocking. She's just trying to cut all that now, because the thing about Jayden Daniels, he has no drama, no outside issues. You can solely focus on his craft and how he plays football, and that's how it should be, because there's no outside source affecting what he's got going on in his praise and what he's doing. So I support it. I don't know if I feel like he got a problem, because I do feel like she has him super locked in. And the article even came out that he had like the VR headset to like lock in with his plays and how he was doing stuff. So I think like that's the image that's being put out. That's probably the reality, and it should stick that way, because that only helps his legacy as he's starting off at such a young age and doing all the great things that he's doing.
I think the reason I even keep bringing up Lamar Jackson is because you don't hear no shit about him neither.
Right.
And his mother's very intricate in a part of his career. I remember a few weeks ago before the playoffs started, and he was talking. He said, me and my mom said I missed some running plays. I should have took off and scrambled for it. And I'm like, mom is sitting there telling niggas stop waiting and take off. So that's how important she is as far as his career, to where he's even mentioned her post game. So great point, Stat.
Okay, we're going to go to break. When we return, we will talk about Sunday's game, the Chiefs versus the Bills.
When it comes to sports drama, few stories have taken over the internet quite like this one. Right now, everyone seems to have an opinion about Washington Commanders quarterback Jayden Daniels and the nonstop conversations surrounding his mother, Regina Jackson. But trust me, that's only the beginning. Things reached another level when Harlem legend Camron weighed in on the controversy during his podcast, and you won't believe how entertaining his reaction turned out to be. It wasn't just funny, it sparked a bigger conversation that had fans looking at the entire situation from a different angle. So stay with me because there's a lot to unpack here. If you've somehow missed this story, let's break everything down from the beginning. Jayden Daniels burst into the NFL with the Washington Commanders and delivered one of the most impressive rookie campaigns we've seen in years. He helped revive a franchise that had struggled for a long time, earned a Pro Bowl selection, captured Offensive Rookie of the Year honors, and quickly became the face of football in Washington. At just 24 years old, he's already viewed as the type of franchise quarterback every organization dreams of building around. But with that level of talent, fame, and financial success comes an entirely different kind of spotlight. And I'm not talking only about fans, media coverage, or endorsement deals. I'm talking about the attention that comes from people hoping to be connected to a rising superstar. According to many fans, nobody seems more aware of that reality than Jayden's mother, Regina Jackson. She isn't your typical football mom cheering from the stands and celebrating every touchdown with tears of joy. Not even close. Regina is highly accomplished, holding 2 master's degrees while also passing the NFL agent exam in 2024. She now serves as Jayden's business manager and certified agent through her own company, AIC Sports. So this isn't simply an overprotective parent hovering over her son. This is someone who has built a professional career around protecting his future and making sure nobody takes advantage of him. And judging by the way she speaks, it's obvious she stands firmly behind every word she says. The conversation exploded after a clip from Prime Video's documentary, The Money Game, started spreading across social media. The series followed LSU athletes during the NIL era, showing how they navigated the business side of college sports and brand deals. During one interview, Regina was asked what concerned her most about Jayden entering the NFL. Without taking even a second to think, she answered with one word that instantly sent the internet into debate. Her answer was simple: girls. That's it. Just one word, and the entire internet lit up. She went on to explain that somewhere out there, someone probably has a Jayden Daniels poster on the wall, while their family is encouraging them to pursue him because of his success. It may have sounded extreme to some people, but Regina made it crystal clear that she believes there are people waiting for an opportunity, and as long as she's around, she isn't letting that happen. Jayden's reaction made the moment even better. He couldn't stop laughing and admitted that sounded exactly like something his mother would say. Honestly, that told you everything you needed to know about their relationship. He understands exactly how protective she is, and deep down, he probably realizes there is at least some truth behind her concerns. Then, the story picked up even more attention during the 2025 NCAA Women's March Madness Tournament. Jayden attended a USC game at the Galen Center and stayed afterward, where cameras caught him sitting courtside with USC star JuJu Watkins following her impressive 22-point performance. The two were smiling, chatting, and looked comfortable together, and within minutes, social media completely lost its mind. Fans immediately started speculating about what was really going on, and that's when this story reached an entirely different level. By that point, social media had already started creating its own fairy tale ending in the comments. Fans were convinced the chemistry was obvious, and plenty of people were already imagining Jayden Daniels and JuJu Watkins as the next big sports power couple. But then, everything changed in an instant. Like something straight out of a movie scene, Regina Jackson calmly walked over and took the seat directly between them, right in the middle. It almost looked like a referee stepping in to stop the play before it could even begin. Just like that, whatever conversation or connection Jayden and JuJu were sharing came to an immediate end. As you can probably guess, the internet exploded. Some people laughed and turned the moment into memes, while others thought Regina was simply being a protective mother. On the other hand, plenty of fans felt bad for JuJu Watkins, believing the whole interaction was awkward and unnecessary. Others just sat there wondering if they had really witnessed what everyone else was talking about. No matter which side people agreed with, one thing became impossible to ignore. Regina takes her role incredibly seriously. She wasn't putting on a show for social media or trying to create a viral moment. From her perspective, protecting her son's future is a full-time responsibility, and she's clearly committed to it, whether people approve or criticize her. Later, Regina addressed the backlash during her appearance on the Pivot podcast, where she explained her side of the story without avoiding any of the tough questions. She reminded everyone that her now famous comment about girls came from an interview recorded 2 years earlier while Jayden was still playing at LSU. She also made it clear that she absolutely wants her son to date, enjoy life, and make his own decisions as an adult. At the same time, she emphasized that she has no plans to step away from protecting his career because her concerns come from real experience in business, not just emotion. According to Regina, Jayden understands football because that's been his world for years, but navigating the business side of fame is an entirely different challenge. She believes success attracts people with hidden motives, and once money and celebrity enter the picture, not everyone approaching you has good intentions. That's exactly why, as both his mother and her certified agent, she sees it as her responsibility to stand between him and anyone who could potentially take advantage of him. There was also one statement she made that I think deserves a lot more attention than it received. She said, "I work too hard to let anyone come in and take it all away." That wasn't only about Jayden's hard work, it was about her own journey too. She invested years into raising him, educating herself, and becoming qualified enough to handle the business side of his career. In other words, she's not simply trying to control an adult son. She's someone who completely reinvented her own professional life so she could be the strongest person possible in his corner. Whether you agree with her methods or not, it's difficult to ignore the level of commitment behind everything she's doing. And honestly, understanding all of that makes what happened next even more entertaining. Because once Camron and Mace started discussing the entire Jayden Daniels situation on It Is What It Is, things immediately took a hilarious turn. If you've watched even a few minutes of that podcast, then you already know exactly how Camron operates. He'll tell you exactly what's on his mind, mix it with classic Harlem humor, and somehow have everyone laughing while still making a surprisingly solid point. That's exactly what happened here. After building a second successful career in sports media following his legendary run in hip-hop, Camron looked at the entire situation and in many ways actually understood where Regina was coming from, even while cracking jokes nonstop. His breakdown had Maze laughing throughout the conversation, and before long, clips from the podcast were spreading all over social media. The reason his opinion carried weight is because he's lived through the entertainment industry himself. He's seen firsthand how fame changes the people around you, especially when successful men suddenly become magnets for attention. He understands that not every person who comes into your life has honest intentions, and that's why his reaction wasn't just about making fun of the situation. Beneath all the jokes, it sounded like someone who genuinely understood why Regina was being so protective in the first place. The reality is something a lot of people avoid saying out loud, even though everyone around professional sports already understands it. When you're a 24-year-old NFL quarterback with fame, money, and a bright future, not every person who suddenly enters your life has honest intentions. Some relationships are genuine, while others are built around opportunity, and figuring out the difference isn't nearly as easy as people make it sound. That's why having someone willing to take the criticism, become the target of jokes, and still protect your best interests can be incredibly valuable. Camron clearly recognized that. The way he delivered his opinion, with humor, charisma, and that unmistakable Harlem style, made people laugh while also forcing them to think. That's exactly why the conversation spread so quickly across social media. It's one thing to hear a football analyst calmly explain that young athletes need to be careful about the people around them. It's something completely different when Camron says the exact same thing with punchlines flying, the room bursting into laughter, and everyone hanging on every word. That's the kind of authentic content people actually remember. And if you ask me, his reaction opened the door to a much bigger conversation that needed to happen. Much of the criticism aimed at Regina Jackson has focused on one idea. People have called her controlling, questioned why a grown man would have his mother so involved in his personal life, and argued that she's stopping Jayden from enjoying a normal relationship. But underneath all the jokes, Camron's message seemed pretty straightforward. He wasn't saying Regina was overdoing it. He was suggesting that this level of protection makes sense when your child is one of the NFL's biggest young stars. Even former NFL MVP Cam Newton echoed that mindset, saying she'd rather prevent a problem than regret ignoring one later. Here's the question that rarely gets asked. How many talented athletes have we watched lose everything because they trusted the wrong people? We've seen careers damaged by bad influences, poor decisions, and people who are only interested in money or status. That story has played out in football, basketball, hip-hop, and almost every corner of the entertainment world. Camron has spent decades around that lifestyle, so it's safe to say he's seen more than enough to understand how quickly success can attract the wrong crowd. That's why underneath all the laughter, there was a serious point hiding in plain sight. He recognized a mother doing everything she could to keep her son from becoming another cautionary tale. Now, can Regina's approach seem a little intense from the outside? Absolutely. Sitting between your son and a rumored love interest during a basketball game is definitely going to get people talking. Showing up as his +1 at certain public events will naturally create headlines too. But here's the part many people overlook. Regina has never tried to hide what she's doing or pretend to be someone she isn't. During her interviews, she's repeatedly said Jayden is free to date, make his own choices, and live his life however he wants. At the same time, she's made it clear that she isn't changing who she is, and she believes the right person will understand why she's so protective. The interesting part is Jayden himself doesn't appear bothered by any of it. He isn't complaining online, criticizing his mother in interviews, or asking the public to stay out of their family business. Instead, he's focused on football, building his career, growing his brand, and allowing the person he trusts most to handle her responsibilities. If this arrangement truly bothered him, we'd probably know by now. After all, he's a 24-year-old professional athlete who voluntarily works with his mother's sports agency. That doesn't look like someone being controlled. It looks like someone who believes in the plan they've built together. And that's exactly why Camron's comments mattered more than people might realize. Sometimes it takes someone who's respected both inside the culture and outside of it to cut through all the online noise. Beneath the jokes, Camron was essentially saying Regina Jackson isn't the villain many people have tried to make her out to be. In fact, she may be one of the biggest reasons Jayden Daniels has stayed focused while reaching this level of success. Every superstar has a strong support system behind the scenes, and Jayden's happens to include a mother with 2 master's degrees, an NFL agent certification, and absolutely no patience for anyone she believes could threaten everything they've worked to build. So the next time you see Regina stepping into the spotlight, sitting beside her son, or defending her decisions in another interview, it might be worth looking beyond the memes before rushing to judge. At the end of the day, Jayden Daniels is healthy, thriving, financially secure, and entering another NFL season as one of the league's most exciting young quarterbacks. His mother has been part of that journey from the very beginning, and whether people love her methods or hate them, her influence is impossible to ignore. Camron saw it, everyone on the podcast eventually saw it, and now the bigger picture is becoming much clearer. That's the story hiding underneath all the viral jokes.